It's 5 o'clock, and you're off the clock with B Scott. And today we're excited to have our guest, Dennis Milligan. All right, he is the auditor for the state of Arkansas. And let me tell you, you may have money put up right now in an account that you don't even know about, but you can get it. It's yours, and there's no tax. It is your money. So pay attention. Dennis is going to walk us through how to get it, how to get your hands on it, and where to find it at. All right, so make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and let's get right into it. So, Dennis, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do, and tell me a little bit about the Great Arkansas State Treasure Hunt.
Yeah, well, the treasure hunt is part of the auditor state's responsibility. It's not the only responsibility I have, but it is probably the best known with respect to giving people back their monies. Now, when you say giving back their monies, what does that mean? Well, the auditor state is responsible for unclaimed property. Unclaimed property is monies or items that have been turned over to us because we couldn't find the rightful owner. From the money perspective, that can come in many different forms. It can come from old utility deposits. It can come from old insurance proceeds. It can come from perhaps rebates. I got a $20 rebate the other day for something I had bought, and somehow they couldn't find me, and I found
Really?
it. Yeah. So it's really a hodgepodge of a number of different ways these monies, stocks and bonds. Perhaps an old lost uncle left you a bunch of money, as they did a sister and 2 brothers the other day. They didn't even know he had passed away, and left him $75,000. So again, it's my responsibility as the auditor to let Arkansans know that they've got these monies. Guys, I've got $400 million.
So all this money that people is unclaimed, people don't know about, has just came down to one pot of money, and you're basically just contacting people, and people are reaching out through your site and figuring out they actually are owed money.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of my responsibility and my team's responsibility to let as many people know about the program. We've been more active than probably any other auditor, with mobile offices set up around the state, letting people know about this. You said yourself, you didn't know about this program.
Right.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I mean,
and hearing what you're saying is not abnormal. I hear it all the time, and so does my staff. So we've tried to be very pro. We even wrapped the state vehicle with Claim a Day art, so it catches their attention. I mentioned a few moments ago before we went on air, ran into a lady at the McDonald's right here in Fordyce, and come to find out she had $200 coming. So I've got a 1 in 4 chance that I owe you money. And let me make it clear, it's your money. It's not the government giving you a dang thing. It's your money, or it was money that was passed on to you.
well, I mean, how does these companies, families, whatever, how do they know where to put the money? Like, where's this money coming from? Like, is it, I just don't understand it. Like, maybe the banks got the money in the banks, and the banks don't know what to do with the money,
Right.
so they contact you. I mean, is it a law?
There's
Is it a state
certain
law?
There's
Okay.
certain laws. Every day around the state, for example, there are safety deposit boxes that are being drilled. Why are they being drilled? Because they're
Oh.
considered deserted. They
Oh, I
haven't
got
been,
you.
they haven't been attended. So by state law, the bank has to drill the box. That's not the only way, but they have to drill the box and then inventory and then turn those contents over to us. Now, in my vault, I've got a Babe Ruth signed baseball that's worth $1 gazillion. I've got a letter from Babe Ruth. I've got Rolex watches. I've got jewelry.
So all this is sitting there waiting for somebody to just sign in and claim it.
I hope the baseball's mine.
Well, and so do I. I hope. But,
I got my fingers crossed.
but it's been around. But I'm just saying, the money is is obviously the real deal. I have had the great pleasure at my time in office of giving. My highest give back to a lady in Hot Springs was $1.2 million. That was in stocks.
Wow.
That her dad had left her.
Holy smokes.
She
That's
wouldn't.
crazy.
Then I had a 92-year-old gentleman. My second largest give back, $450,000.
Now, let me ask you, is this tax money when you give it back? They got to pay taxes on it?
Mm-mm.
Holy cow.
And
You
do they
mean we
reach
actually
out-
get money that's not taxed?
Well, let me walk that back. Let me just say you'll need to visit with your account about that, but with your accountant about those monies. But some of them, if they're life insurance proceeds, that's already been taxed. I mean that's free to go to whoever the right.
I guess it wouldn't matter anyway. You get money you didn't know.
So what? On those two biggest that get money back that y'all did y'all reach out to them or they reach out to you?
Well, obviously those figures stood out to us, and we reached out. The lady that we gave the 1.2 million, it took right at a year to even get her to come and claim the money.
I can only imagine.
You tell me I got $1.something million.
If they
I've been there
call
quick.
you, but if they call you over the phone, I would think scam. Boom.
No,
It
and
don't say 1-800-GOV, does it? Because I ain't answering that phone number.
and that leads to my second gentleman that I said 450,000, 92 years old, from Jacksonville, Arkansas, and guys, I'm 67 years old, and he kept calling me young whippersnapper. I guess I was a young whippersnapper to him.
Made you feel good anyway.
He hadn't seen me try to get out of bed in the morning, but still. So he was sharp enough. He said, young whippersnapper, so how much is this going to cost me to get my money? I said, I'll not mention his name, Mr. X. It's not going to cost you anything. I said, I'll send a government car to pick you up and bring you to the state capitol. He said, no way, y'all tried to kidnap me. And so we ultimately ended up going to Jacksonville to a motel, Best Western, that he actually has lived in the last 4 years. He has no heirs. He lived out in the country, and his house got broken into. So he and his wife, they moved to the hotel just to spend some time there to unwind, and that was 4 years ago.
Wow!
But it took a long time to convince him that it wasn't a scam. Hence the name claimitar.gov. It used to be .com, and in order to try to help give a little more credibility, we changed it. Now, if you still go to claimitar.com, it'll move you to the .gov. But so yeah, part of this, and who can blame the people with all the scams?
Yeah, I don't blame them one bit.
After the 4 years we went through, I don't blame. I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it's everything is like,
yeah. So part of our, we're having to prove credibility, and that's my job. But getting an opportunity to sit in on a podcast like the opportunity to be here with y'all this morning also validates and helps for your viewers
yes.
to even more so grasp that it's not that it's for real.
Right. That's a good program. It sounds
and
great.
Times are hard right now, So like the thing is, if you have money out there it's not claimed, it could help you out.
Well, it doesn't take long to check, right? I mean,
no. Claim it for your viewers or listeners, whatever. Claim it ar.gov. Follow the prompts, and in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, you'll know whether I owe you a dime or whether. But I promise you, 1 in 4 Arkansans are owed money. So I know my odds are good there. And if I don't owe you money, I'll promise you'll find somebody that is owed money. So it's a win-win. Now, you speak of hard times. We dislocated over $100,000 for some individuals that are having a very difficult time in Helena, Arkansas, with the water issues. So we made a special effort to try to and we found over $100,000 to go back to those citizens.
Wow, that's nice.
So they could try to.
So what you're saying is, so when you see like areas that are being affected differently, either by natural disaster or whatnot, do y'all actively look for people in that area that may have some money tied up in this account?
I will say not officially, but thanks again to a wonderful staff that buys into what I'm asking for and what I want for Arkansans. I told y'all off air, results matter to me. Y'all are in the private sector here. You're trying to make a payroll. People you were talking about politics. Look, there's nothing scarier. Politics is easy. There's nothing scarier than facing a Friday payroll, and y'all know that.
Oh, absolutely.
So with that being said, it's not specific, but if there is a given area where we feel like that we can highlight or try to help, we're certainly going to be doing that. And I mean, my daughter says it ain't bragging if it's fact. As the auditor for the first my year and 11 months now, we've been the auditor that's given the most money back, at least in the last tracking 10 years.
That's amazing. Does the government make interest off of this money?
We do have it invested to a point, but it has to be invested such that if we need it, that we can get it.
Why is the government investing the money if it's not theirs?
Well, it does help to us offset some of our marketing costs, some of the things that we have, and besides, there's no reason not to have it at least.
Who gets the money? I mean, you just pay bills off the money you make off of.
Well, it helps us to fund our program.
What do y'all do if you don't spend all the money?
Well, it just stays in the account.
Okay.
And it's all very, very transparent. It's all accounted for. Something I'm working on, guys, and again, this gives me an avenue to build, and you're one of the first to get to hear this. I'm working on a new program called Data Match. And this Data Match has already been incorporated by 17 states. You heard me say a little bit ago, I'm struggling to get people's money back because they don't know. Let's say you got $25.60. You know, it's hard to slow down to take the time to claim that. If I get this Data Match passed through the legislature, and I feel very positive the upcoming legislative session, then if I owe you $250 or under, I can just send you a check. That will clear thousands of people off my rolls, and it will also return millions of dollars to Arkansans. Because you got to remember, not everybody gets 1.2 million. Not everybody gets 450,000.
So I got a question. So if you guys are making the interest on this money, how much interest are you making a year off of it?
Well, it just varies on the amount that's in. That's in.
Could y'all do some kind of lottery, something where you can give that interest back to create awareness of the program?
Well,
I mean, you got to get somebody's attention somehow, right?
Yeah, and we do use it, but we don't use it without accountability. With respect,
I'm just trying to figure out ways you guys can let more people know about it.
Well, I think that really, I mean, just hitting as many people that have audiences, as many people that have just a stage to tell it to is definitely key.
Because I had no idea.
Look, I'm going to tell y'all.
Right, I mean,
when we finish this show and it airs, our call center will start getting calls.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many will. I did a mobile unit the other day in Hot Springs Village, and so not only did people come in and collect several thousands of dollars, quote, in person and get it done, but the radio, our calls still coming in from people that it affected and went, hey, gee, maybe I got some money coming. This is all in an effort, guys. We don't go for the can down the road.
So how much did you say it was?
$400 million.
$400 million. You got $400 million sitting in an account.
And it's just everybody's pieced together money that they're owed that nobody has claimed.
And all that money belongs to people in Arkansas.
It does.
Are other states, do they have programs just like this?
Exactly.
Is there any states that do it? Like, is Arkansas doing it the best as far as what you're doing? Or is there something
I would like to see what state has the most money in their account. I mean,
that'd be cool.
I wonder what is it? I mean, is it?
Well, it's going to be based, as we would probably know,
but based off of population for sure.
Because the more people, the more entities that are owed money. But the Data Match program, again, is an innovative way. I have a proven commodity in that I have 17 states that have activated this and are doing very, very well. And guys, let's think about it again a little bit. That's putting money into the economy.
It is.
that may make someone. I'm not going to tell you they're going to have enough money to come down and buy a new boat, but
I mean, $400 million in the local economy. I mean,
It might pay for the down payment.
It's going to buy some tires. It's going to buy some food. It's going to buy all kinds of stuff. And all that stuff's taxed. You know, it's a wonderful program for sure.
It's going to put it right back in, and that's my motivation. You know, there's an old adage, it's really a joke, but I really try to take it seriously as I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And
People don't take that serious. You say something like that.
That's
No,
like
I mean-
it's like a whoa.
No. Well, it's pretty clear probably to your audience. I'm a staunch conservative, and you know, I just believe in running government the way, because the only way I know was running my own business for 37 years. When I sold, we were in 17 states. We were bringing a lot of money back to Arkansas. I was very proud of it, and so the only way I know is the bottom line is either plus or minus.
Yeah.
And that's, I've had people say, Dennis, you can't run government like we run a business.
That's what it is.
It's supposed to be. That's what's wrong with the government. They don't build no goods. They don't build nothing. They have no accountability for anything. They're just spending people's money, and they don't have that. Nobody has goals in the government, I don't think.
Well,
besides maybe you. But no, we have talked to another a politician that was super cool, super honest. Who was that? Who was
Bruce Wagner.
Yep. I think I voted for him.
Bruce Wagner.
Westerman.
What am I thinking?
I do think that's who was.
I know who I'm
We
thinking
just talked about that guy the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I
I voted for him.
I know Bruce very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce out of Hot Springs. He's a forester.
Mm-hmm.
That was his degree and what he brings to the table.
He was a good guy. I like talking to him.
Served in the legislature, the state legislature, and then was elevated to that district and big district that he has. But again, I've served with Bruce. Of course, he's at the federal level. I'm at the state level. Now, I am working with Congressman French Hill, who's the 2nd district, and believe it or not, the Department of the Treasury, the feds, they have some 250 to 300 million of Arkansans' monies that are in bonds that the same thing that we're trying, that they don't know who it belongs to, or they claim they don't, and they won't give it back to us to return.
Even though they're Arkansans?
They're Arkansans, and it's billions of dollars when you consider the whole country that the Treasury owes back to constituencies, and ultimately they won't give that money back. They've actually defied a lawsuit to order them to give that money back to the states.
Why won't they give it back to the states?
Well, they keep coming up with gray areas. Well, we'll this and maybe that, and we'll look. I'm hoping with the Trump administration, with French Hill, who's in the banking committee, that will help us, because I've got to have federal help. I can't just do it alone as a state entity. I've got to have the Fed on my side there. So again,
I think you're going to get some help.
I think so too.
How wonderful would it be to bring some 250 or 300 million? I know a young man that's got 100,000 left by his grandfather to him in bonds, and he can't get it.
That's terrible.
That's wrong.
It is wrong.
But there's so much wrong with government, and we know that.
Well, that's why we voted red. You know, it's going to come back.
If you take the 400 million you have, and then plus what it's in the Fed, you just dumped it to where they belong in Arkansas.
That's a major major
boost.
Tax break. I mean, that's a major boost to the economy. That my mother-in-law, God bless her soul, had an old saying: "Many hands make light work." The more we engage, the more we get people employed, the more taxes that are created. The many hands make lighter work than just it being dumped on the middle class to have to support this country.
Yeah, I could tell. I don't want to keep getting back to an election thing, but I can tell, when Trump won, I could tell the atmosphere around this plant. Like employees were excited, you'd go to the tire shop and they were smiling, and it was just like the day he won. I mean, I got emotional that night. I was like, oh God, I hope he wins. I hope he wins. But the next day you're just like, we all woke up. We're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Well,
the air feels good. Feel like we got a future. Now we're having this podcast with you. It just, it's really neat to see politicians work for the people and try to grow their local economies, their state economies, and their federal,
Well,
economies.
Benjamin
It's
Franklin.
awesome.
So you've heard me quote several different things. Benjamin Franklin had a saying, "Well done is much better than well said."
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking at a politician and whatever his or her responsibility is, well said is one thing. The proof
Right.
is in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go there, I'll break down and show you exactly
Right.
what you hired me to do. Now, I was bragging one day to a guy not long ago.
You brag?
I bragged.
That's
I was
good.
bragging to
That's
the
good.
guy and telling him about this and that. And he looked at me, and I could tell his mind was. And he said, "Well, Dennis, that's what I hired you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing nothing more than what I hired you to do, and you're patting yourself on the back like that's something special." That brought me down a few notches.
Well,
that,
you-
that like,
You're just
Yeah.
comparing yourself to the person next to you
Past
that's
or-
not doing a good job. He just viewed it the wrong way.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but there was a lot of in his point. I mean, I accepted that. You know what? That's exactly what he hired me to do. I know what the job paid when I ran for it. Thankfully, the good Lord, I've been blessed immensely. I mentioned earlier,
Got to get to the federal level to make that big bucks.
wonderful family.
absolutely.
That wonderful family that has humored me and being able to be involved in politics. And by golly, we're all after something, but I can smile and know that Dennis Milligan's making a difference.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So I know you're trying to get it passed to where if it's less than 250, you can send a check.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if it's over?
What percentage of that do you think that would wipe off right off the bat?
Oh,
Because
gee.
you said you had 400 million.
Yeah.
Like you think that'd probably be like half of it, maybe,
No,
or
it wouldn't be
a
that
quarter
much.
of it.
It wouldn't. You know what? And forgive me. We're still. I don't want to talk about numbers that I'm not totally sure
I
of,
got you.
because it will vary on some different factors.
And just
But-
estimation.
But let me just say, it will wipe thousands off the rolls, and it'll be several millions.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
So-
nice.
So there is several accounts. Like I know as you said, not everybody has $1 million in there. Not everybody's got 400,000 in there waiting. But would you say that majority of it is 100 to maybe 400, or $100 and less?
I think that's probably a fair estimate. When you go on that site, it will tell you, I owe you 0 to 50, I owe you 50 to 100, or over 100. So that will give you some idea. I mean, you're going to find out what's owed,
Right.
but ultimately it will give you some idea. Sure, the majority it's going to be 0 to 50, just simply because of the sheer numbers. But look, we've given money back to companies for profit. We've given money back to nonprofits, money back to hospitals. I may or may not have mentioned in the great town of Fordyce here, I owe your Chamber of Commerce $600.
Hmm.
I owe the Fordyce Little League I think it may be approaching $1,000. Don't hold me to that exactly. So I owe wherever the Tolson Cemetery is almost $10,000. So these are monies that we were
Cemetery.
the association.
So do y'all have anybody in it, and this might not be correct at all, do you have anybody that's going around just actively just taking people's names, checking?
well,
these cities?
we have a call center that ultimately you call in and process claims. But I put together a staff that is very proactive into searching and trying to see, and if we can encourage. We do some mailers. We're required by law to be in the newspaper once a year, encouraging people. In fact, I think that just occurred where we had ads in all the, quote, major newspapers encouraging people. But look, here's the bottom line, and y'all have heard it many times. I can lead the horse to water.
Can't make a drink.
I can't make him drink.
I know it. You got some common sense too. I can tell.
But all those people you found,
I like
the
your-
Little
I like
League,
your little points
Chamber
there.
of Commerce, the cemetery, all those you found today, that was y'all just being here for the short amount of time you were.
It was just having fun, just circling
So if
around.
you add it up, though, it's close to what, $15,000?
Probably.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, we all got to type our names in here and figure out what we got to get. There's so much money.
I don't think nobody's gonna watch our podcast because as soon as they're gonna hear money, they're gonna be like, okay, screw the podcast.
Yeah, the federal government's going to knock us down here. We ain't going to talk about none of this.
But I'm just fascinated that there's actually a program like this, and actually the government encourages you.
To
It
go get
actually
your
gives
money.
you a budget to operate up with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got to pay you.
But I want you to understand
So
something.
that's
else,
really
too.
good that the government's even trying to get money back to people.
But just for the sake of the other people in my being the auditor of state, I have more responsibilities than just this program.
Right.
Obviously, this is what we're kind
Right.
of. But I also sit on two very important retirement boards: the teacher retirement system,
Mm-hmm.
and I also sit on the board of our APERS, our public employees retirement system. I've sat on both of those boards now some close to 10 years by virtue of being a former treasurer of state. And by the way, when I started as treasurer of state, we had $3.2 billion in the kitty, and in investments. When I left, we were $11 million.
I mean, Arkansas has a surplus of money. I mean, right? I mean, on their budgeting, they've done really good the last few years.
Well, and I would say again that all, yeah, we have to have our budget. We're each year we have to we can't carry anything over.
Mhm.
Everything has to be done. Some of those numbers though can be tricky of how they're approached, how they're looked at.
I mean, they're reported in a positive direction.
Well, they are, and they are positive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I certainly agreed to and wanted to be a part of was creating that rainy day fund where we had so much in the bank when hard times hit that we wouldn't get just hit in the head.
Yeah.
But I'm also responsible for over some 700 Arkansan judges, prosecutors. I do all their payroll, all of their human resources type stuff. So, it's not just one thing that I'm hired to do. I am one of 7 constitutional offices. You have governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general, secretary of state, treasurer, auditor, land commissioner. So I'm an elected official. We are term limited here. We can only serve 2 4-year terms.
I think everybody's going to term limits pretty soon, hopefully.
Do what?
I think everybody's going to term limits pretty soon.
Well, a number of different states have, and
Mhm.
now the part about term limits, you bring that up. That I've always said, folks, is we didn't have to vote it in. We've always had term limits. You
Yes.
know what it's called?
What?
Voting.
Yeah.
You don't.
I mean,
like, you don't like
on the state level, it's
You don't
always
like the
seems
job I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know that's.
Mhm.
But yes, the term limits that have been passed by law.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm a part of the executive branch. There's 3 branches of government. I'm in the executive branch. So really what I am is just like y'all. I'm a manager, quote, running a company. It's just a
Right.
very large company.
Well, you also worked in the private sector too,
Which is-
I mean, you grew up, so you.
I never really worked. I worked for a big chemical company for some 7 years. At 27, somewhere in that neighborhood, I walked in, told my wife that we were going to start our own company. After her and her mother took me to psychological counseling, and I got through all of that. And she said, "Well, what about failure?" I said, "Failure is not an option." And then, we made it for a year, and then 2 years, and then the next thing I know, I'm getting all this. Oh, we knew you could do it all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
y'all
kinda what happened.
Never doubted you.
It's kind of what happened to me. I mean, I failed several times, and
Yeah.
failure is nothing but just a great experience. I
It
mean, it
pisses-
It's
teaches
just a
you.
bad day.
it just pisses me off.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it's not fun, but it is such a it teaches you what mistakes surely not to make.
Make
again.
strong men. Strong men.
Y'all got a good product here. I mean, we're in a state that is, God, I love this state. I'm born and raised here, and I've traveled around. Some folks just got back from Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
and I ain't lost nothing in Alaska. I enjoyed being there, but I couldn't wait to get back to my state.
It is a great state.
Hey, Arkansas is a good state. I mean,
We're
it
just
is. I mean,
we're a poor state, and we get that. But there's so many good people, so many great companies, and look,
what makes a state rich? What makes a state rich?
Is it like per person?
Is it just
value,
population
or
based,
is it-
tax based? I mean, what makes it rich? I mean,
well, I think
you say poor state. What is a poor state?
Yeah, I think several factors we have a lot of retirees here on fixed
Okay.
incomes.
Okay.
So then we have a number of course, you always have to take a look at your government programs, your quote welfare programs, and we have a large. Our prison system sucks a lot of money out of our budget, and of course, education takes a tremendous amount. So there's only. Let me take this to the next level. Social Security, and the government has robbed Social Security big time, just like. I mean, to the tune of billions. Oh, we'll pay it back. Well, that ain't happened. Used to, we had a 10.2 ratio per every retiree. Now it's almost even. So I started drawing Social Security the other day, and so there's one person that is basically on his or her shoulders helping to fund my retirement. We had 10.2 people, and now we only have about 1.2 that are compared. Something to think about.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because the government is robbed and robbed and robbed
To the point where it's more work for the.
Well, they've just said, we'll pay the money back, and they've robbed Peter to pay Paul and kicked the can down the road. I'm not for sure how you are in that, but
24.
I don't know that you'll ever see Social Security in your time. I just started receiving it, and the lady said, well, Mr. Milligan, you could wait till you were 70. And I said, there's two reasons why I'm not waiting till 70. Number one, I'm not sure the fund will be around. And number two, I want to get my money right now because it's my money. That isn't government money. That's my money. And I want to get as much of it back before this thing doesn't make it. And
This
it makes
is ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand how government can even function like this.
Well,
it's crooked politicians, and they need to downsize their government, give it back to the states.
There's been many
It's terrible.
man and woman go to
It's
Congress.
been way too much money.
There's been many a man and woman go to Congress that were just of average wealth come out. Look, you can't unring a bell. When you find out that an XYZ company's fixing an offer, an IPO, initial public, and how can you unring that bell? And next thing you know, you've got the wife or somebody investing. I mean,
Yeah.
They're crazy good at guessing.
Well, they are crazy
Crazy good.
and I know that's not the total subject.
And only certain people go to jail for it. I'm not going to say nothing. Let's not go there.
Yeah. Well,
But
you asked me earlier before we got on the show about another rich politician. You need to come and look because I must not be doing that because I'm.
You ain't figured that out yet.
listen, honest folks, it's hard to make a living being honest. It's like I've had 3 successful boat companies. They're still on the water today, and I'm not filthy rich. Don't ask me how that happened. But I've had 3 successful companies.
Well, no, I can probably tell you how to happen,
And-
sir. I'm pretty keen to that, and it's
You know-
not anything extreme.
Well, what's your opinion? Why do you think I'm not filthy rich? Because I should be.
Well, I think probably my senses say that you give back, you take care of your employees, you
Mhm.
care about your employees, you care about your family, you care about your community, and again, there's something that's. I mean, it ain't bragging if you're successful. Now, as far as you not being filthy rich, I think it's a combination of the factors that I just said, but. Without reviewing your books and looking at you personally, I can't. I might.
Well, I don't live big, but we do give back. Our customer warranty, our warranty is unmatched. I mean,
It
we
is.
just take care of customers way too, not too good.
We
don't get me
even
wrong.
we even
but-
take care of customers that have some of the other models, other boat brands
Mhm.
that he built 10, 12 years ago will come in and have a problem with the boat, and we'll actually fix it, and it's not even the same brand.
So we take care of our customer base as an
Well,
individual.
that comes at a
All right,
cost.
so you know what that says to me right there?
What's that?
You're not interested in short term. You're interested in the long term.
It's a legacy.
You're interested in a good pool player.
Mm-hmm.
A good pool player isn't worried about the shot he's taking right now.
He's worried about the shot in front of it.
Two shots
That's right.
down,
That's right.
because that's going to position him to be he or she
Yeah.
to be. 'Cause I say she because I have a banker lady, and I'll tell you what,
She's good.
she will take your she'll
He's-
take your money.
He's taking money.
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh, this is like stealing, and yeah. But
And
the
she's
point-
probably quiet about it too.
she's pretty quiet.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The point is that again, when you see the long range plan, and you said legacy, your name means something to you. You're passing it on to a family, and boy, I tell you, you don't have to make any excuses for price when you got the quality.
That's right. It's called building the American dream. The American dream is still alive, boys.
It is.
Girls. You know, you got to get out there and work, and you're helping it come true for somebody.
And
you know, giving back to the people,
doing what's right.
I mean, if one person tries to give back, everybody else do that.
I mean, if anybody watches this, gets on there and figures out that they got money, this was a
buy Havoc for real. But anyways.
Well, and there's no doubt they will. And I would ask your viewers, listeners, whoever's getting a part of this, whether it's if someone would let you know that we could get some feedback from you that says, when I was first approached by Daniel Sample about appearing on the show, I'm trying to understand. Again, I'm a big supporter of Arkansas small business, but I was trying to figure out exactly where's the rub. What does claimitar.gov got to do with Havoc? But and now I understand more clearly. Y'all are doing this at an expense, but number two, and you haven't drilled me. You haven't been sitting here promoting your boats, or you've been talking about something that's very public that can help the state of Arkansas, your local city, state, or community. So now I get the gist of it, and I'm very, very thankful that you invited me on.
Yeah, we're a very conservative family.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming.
We try to help as many people as we can. Our employees and everybody. We just want to. I did live the American dream. It's not over, but. I started building boats when I was 18 years old, and borrowed $100,000 from the banker, and I lost it 6 months later. And I bankrupt and lost everything. And I've never gave up. I'm 45 years old, but I'm actually I have lived the American dream. It's a wonderful feeling, and it's possible for anybody to live the American dream. And, what's more importantly, the government can help people live the American dream. This is a great nation, and it's only going to get better. And, meeting people like you, not necessarily a politician, but just people in general, that's where it all starts. It's your personality and who you are. And luckily for us, you pick to be a politician. So that's awesome for all of us. Because we need better people.
No, you have to have good people.
Yes.
Or the evil will just run wild.
Yes.
Well, I made the comment again. All that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men and women to set aside and do nothing. And I will encourage your viewers, your listeners, give back, get involved. You don't have to be involved at the state level. You get involved at your community level.
Yeah.
Run for the quorum court, and then that way you get a clearer picture rather than just sitting on the outside looking in. You get an opportunity to have your input, have your influence, and quite frankly, I think it's what made the country great. And number two, I think that it is, quite frankly, just like voting. I believe it's an obligation that we have.
I know you're gonna make me be a politician.
Well, Dennis,
I enjoy it.
Well, Dennis, we appreciate you coming by. We appreciate talking with you about everything, and
sure.
We're definitely excited looking into the future. I think hopefully we're fixing to have a really awesome 4 years.
And we're very grateful to have somebody like you as a politician, fighting for us.
Well, before we sign off here, let me just say it again. claimitar.gov. My name is Dennis Milligan. I'm the Auditor of State. You can call our office. Look, I help people, and I love it. Many times it doesn't have anything to do with the auditor's office. It's they don't know who to call. They can't get through. You can ask my staff. It's almost on a daily basis that we're trying to direct or cut through the red tape and get someone where they can get their questions or their issues settled.
Well, man, you're a good guy. I can tell. And I always tell people I ain't scared of dying. I'm just scared of nobody showing up at my funeral. So do right by people and treat people right. And it'll make your day easier.
It's called a legacy.
That's right.
And I think we'll leave it right there, guys. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications, subscribe, And drop in the comments if you found out that you actually have some money that you're owed.
Go get your money.
Catch you on the next one.
Thank you.